Today's guest is Tracy Boyd. He is the founder of the Law and Leadership School, established in 2018 in Nashville, Tennessee. He has dedicated his career to empowering individuals and communities through legal education and leadership development. He's a professional arbitrator and mediator. Tracy is the proud creator, producer, and big judge for upcoming new courtroom television and internet show on Docket with Judge Tracy, a new generation of courtroom television. Before he founded the Law and Leadership School, he initiated the highly successful summer program, the Law and Leadership Society, in partnership with the 80th United States Attorney General Alberto Gonzalez. Tracy launched this program on the campus of Belmont University College of Law. The following year, the program expanded to the University of Memphis. Tracy pursued further education and attended Concord Law on the Executive Juris Doctorate track. His commitment and in-depth knowledge of the American criminal justice system led Tracy to become a judicial intern for the Honorable Judge Monty Watkins of Davidson County Criminal Court. In 2022, Tracy unfortunately faced an unjust conviction, which he maintains his innocence against. Despite facing this challenge, Tracy has maintained unwavering support from his community. Tracy's determination and resilience continue to drive his work, and he refuses to let any setback hinder his efforts to make a positive impact in his community. He is a firm believer that together we can work towards a more just and equitable society. Let's welcome Tracy to Pathways to Success.
Welcome to Pathway to Success. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Hunter, and I have my co-host with me right here, Ms. Charlotte Marshall. And we have
professional mediator and arbitrator, Dr. Tracy Boyd, with us this evening. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Hunter and Charlotte. Thank you guys for having me.
Very, 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 very inspirational young man, very talented, very knowledgeable. Knowledge is power. And has a great sense of humor. So believe me, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat tonight. He's going to empower us. But Tracy, can you share with us your inspiration? First, the inspiration of why you decide to go into law, and then the idea of founding the Law and Leadership School and your commitment to justice and education.
Yeah, absolutely. So right before I founded the Law and Leadership School, I was working as a judicial intern for Judge Monty Watkins at a Davidson County Criminal Court. And on a daily basis, interning right under this judge, I'm right there, front row seat to all of the proceedings and everything that's happening inside of that courtroom. But on a daily basis, one of the things that I was always seeing was people who look just like me coming in and not knowing what their legal rights and responsibilities are. When it comes to the Law and Leadership School, I wanted to create an institution that not only, just showed people or showed young people what the American jurisprudence looked like, but what their legal rights and responsibilities are as it pertains to this thing that we call the United States Constitution. So how do I interact with police officers? What is courtroom decorum if I ever have to find myself in front of a judge? What are the things that I say? What are the things that I do not say? And I wanted to just teach young people these things because one of the things that I've been seeing around in my community lately is a rise in the crime within our younger generation. And I have to do my part by teaching these young people what their legal rights are, and how to maintain those legal rights. And so a lot of the inspiration that came behind the Law and Leadership School really came from my experience as this intern for Judge Watkins, and so many people not knowing what their rights are, coming into the courtroom, waiving certain hearings and things like that. I tell people all the time, you never waive a preliminary hearing, right? This is a hearing to establish probable cause. Does the state have enough evidence against me to even be charging me with this crime. So why would I waive something like that? And so I saw a lot of that during my tenure as an intern and a clerk. And I wanted to do something to teach young people about those type of procedures and processes.
Wow, that's nice. That's very nice. And Dr. Boyd, how did your experience with the Law and Leadership Society shape your vision for legal education with communities and schools?
Oh, it's amazing because it allows me to have direct contact with the public school systems, with the principals, with these teachers that are now starting over time. Well, over the last couple of years, we've been starting to incorporate CTE classes. So careers, technology, education, all of these type of different courses. So you have a criminal justice field now in high school that students can start, pursuing and looking into. They have a cosmetology track that students can start kind of pursuing. And so again, this allows me direct contact because whatever the schools are needing resources and tools for, here I am, an outsider doing this on a community level. I'm able to bring these instructions and bring these tools inside of our public school system. When it comes to the Law and Leadership Society, which is our summer program that we have every year on the campus of a law school, here is an opportunity again for young people to be directly involved in their community. We're going to the city council meetings, we're going to the county commission meetings, and we're taking this in-depth study of what this thing called community looks like. So it's an amazing. These young people are actually being nominated from their public school system. So again, it allows for a direct type of contact with our public education system.
Wow, that's amazing. But Dr. Boyd, what motivated you to pursue education at Concord Law School and specialize in the executive Juris Doctor track?
I'm an educator. A lot of people have asked me because, you know so much about the law, Tracy. You're so knowledgeable about the law. Why didn't you go to law school to practice? And I'll be honest with you. I don't know how long this explanation is going to be, so feel free to chime in wherever you need to. But I'll be honest with you. When you talk about law and justice and fairness, they're not the same thing. The law is very different than justice, and justice is very different than the law. And what I mean by that, Charlotte and Dr. Hunter, is the law. When you talk about the law and justice, because I'm coming from a justice standpoint, right? I want what's in the pursuing of justice. I want what's fair, and I want what's going to bring justice to people who follow me, to people who support me, to people who go through whatever it is that they go through, and they look for my opinion in whatever it is that they're going through. Law limits reality.
Wow, that's powerful.
Law limits reality. What law says is, law says this is admissible in a court of law, but that's not admissible. I can consider this in a court of law, but I can't consider that. That's what law says. But when you talk about justice and fairness, you have to take all of that into consideration. Anything that you're not wanting to take in consideration because of law, when you talk about the pursuing of justice and what's fair and what's right, you have to take all of that as a trier of the facts. You have to take all of that into consideration. I can't see myself practicing in a court of law where it's already set up for my client to fail. When you think about the historical context of the American jurisprudence or the American legal system, what was the foundation of it being created? It wasn't just punishment. It was another form of slavery. That's in our 13th Amendment. It's another form of slavery. And so to tie all of that up, I love this work that I'm doing in the community, and I can't wait to travel all over the world to do it, because it doesn't seem like a lot of even lawyers who are actually practicing in the courtroom. You know, there is only so far that they can go when it talks about when we're talking about having real conversations. You know what I'm saying? There is an oath that they took, and their first obligation is to the court.
Yes.
It's not to their client. Their first obligation is to the court. Then it's to the state. Then it's their client. And so why not learn what your legal rights and responsibilities are, and learn and represent yourself, because can't nobody tell your story better than you.
It's true.
Wow, well, I'm just loving this. Dr. Boyd, could you discuss your time as a judicial intern for the Honorable Judge Monty Watkins, and how did it influence your understanding of the American judicial system?
Yeah, it really, let me answer that part first. It really influenced my understanding, and this, I guess, kindergarten theology of it that I had at the time. I thought the American legal system was one way and set up one way, but when I actually see it in real time and what's happening, I realized that it's actually not set up that way. And so many times we hear people say, oh, the system is broken. The system is broken. Ladies and gentlemen and viewers tonight, the system is not broken. The system is operating to do exactly what it was designed to do. And that was to incarcerate people, incarcerate those who especially look like me and poor people. That was the foundation of this system. And until we understand just that little basic, we're going to always fall short to district attorneys who are non-progressive and who are leading their office off of criminal convictions and the criminalization of crazy things, right? So my experience as a judicial intern for Judge Watkins, it gave me direct, again, as I mentioned earlier in the interview, it gave me a direct view and experience of what these people were actually going through. And I'm sorry to say these people, but what a lot of the people who were coming into that courtroom, what they were experiencing. I understood what it was, but again, a lot of it is going to a lack of education, a lack of understanding, and a lack of resources to even address why people are even committing crimes in the first place.
Wow. That's amazing. You're such a great wealth of knowledge.
We're so tuned in.
You're so
Thank y'all.
Learning about one.
We're learning so much from you, one-on-one.
Yes.
In your roles as a paralegal and legal assistant, particularly in criminal law, what lessons did you learn that have impacted your advocacy work so far?
Well, working as a paralegal, I realized that I was really the lawyer at the time. I was doing all of the work and turning it in to the lawyer, and then it was her job or his job to go and present it to the judge. So I recognized that I was actually the legal strategist behind it. But if you could repeat your question for me again, Dr. Hunter.
Okay. What I said is that, and you really need to, what I was saying to you is that how, as a paralegal, right, and legal assistant, particularly in criminal law, what lessons did you learn that have impacted your advocacy work?
I don't think that it. Let me just say this. It had a lot to do with, it was very impactful in terms of understanding legal documents, knowing what type of motions to file. Let's say I wasn't planning on staying with that law firm forever, obviously, right? So I take what I learned there and I use it for whatever my next project or my next career goal is, and then I add to even that. And so working as a paralegal and a legal assistant, it allowed me the opportunity to truly understand legal documents, the filings of these legal documents, and, what legal documents do you even file? If I'm involved in a criminal case, or if I'm trying to, let's say that I'm trying to get something expunged off of my record. And for our viewers who don't know what expungement is, it's here in Tennessee. Expungement is the erasing and the removing of a criminal charge from your criminal record. And I have to say it like that because expungement in Tennessee may not be what expungement in California is. And quite honestly, it's not that. Like I said, expungement here in Tennessee is the erasing and the removing a criminal charge from your record as if it never existed. Well, when you go over to California and you talk about expungement, that's not what expungement mean over there. Expungement in California means the turning over of a guilty plea to a not guilty plea, or you took a plea and you were found guilty of this charge. Expungement in California means we're just going to make it where you weren't guilty and make it where it's not guilty, but the charge still shows up on your record. It doesn't show up that you're guilty, but you can never have it erased as if it never happened. Y'all understand that?
Yeah.
So again, understanding that's why a lot of my answers to some of the questions tonight, and I don't want to sound repetitive, but a lot of the answers that's to the questions tonight is going to always be circling back to, we got to become educated about this stuff. Yeah. We have to. Again, if I just want to get something off of my record, why am I going to spend $2,500 to have a lawyer to do it when I can go and do it for free for myself? There is nothing in the Constitution that says that I have to have a lawyer to do this stuff for me. What the Constitution says is you have a right to a lawyer if you cannot afford one.
That's right. So Tracy, how has facing unjust conviction in 2022 influenced your approach to advocacy? And how do you maintain your resilience in your work? I mean, because you definitely have resilience. We can hear it. Yes. It's very, really, I'm honored.
Thank you. I don't want to go to church on y'all tonight, but but I would be remiss if I did not bring up the fact that, one, I'm also very spiritual. I'm very spiritual, and I wish I could have sent this video to you guys before this interview tonight. But right before, and I say this with all humbleness tonight, right before any of this happened to me, as far as the 2022 charges and things of that nature, before any of this happened to me, allow me to say this. I was scrolling on Facebook one day, and one of my Facebook friends she was live, and she's a prophetess in the church. And at this time, like, she's never met me like in person a day in her life. I've never met her in person a day in my life. We're just good Facebook friends, and I was just scrolling, and I stopped on her live. And when I stopped on her live, she was talking, and the first thing I heard was, and I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know who I'm talking to. But about maybe 20 seconds into the live, she said, and Tracy, it's you who the Lord has placed on my heart. It's you who the Lord is talking to tonight. She said, Tracy, you need to move. She said, you have done the work in Jackson, Tennessee that God had called you to. It's time to pass that mantle on to somebody else. You have been the example of boldness and of kindness and of confidence that city needs. It's time for you to pack your things and it's time to go. This was in August of 2021. Hear me out. Follow the story. This was in August of 2021 when I'm catching her on this live. Tracy, you need to move. God is finna pass that mantle on to somebody else. But check this out. I even hear in the realms of the spirit that even when it's time for you to move, that even more accusations are going to be brought towards you. Even more words of spite are going to be brought against you. But I hear now in the realms of the spirit, this is her saying this. I hear now in the realms of the spirit that it's already canceled. What God has for me, and I'm about to wrap this up. Here's your answer to the influence to my advocacy today. What God has for me, no man can ever take that away from me. I don't care if I'm inside of a jail cell. I don't care if I'm out here on the street. I don't care if I'm inside of a school building. I don't care if God was to take away what he felt like he needed to take away in my life right now. I am at a space or in a space where I understand quite a few things. What God has for me, it is for me. 2, the words that he has spoken over my life and allowed even like spiritual mothers and spiritual fathers that I have invited into my life, the things that they have spoken over my life and have revealed to me in a spiritual realm, it can't allow me to give up. It can't allow me to give up who? Quit who? When God calls me home, I'm going to answer to how many people I was able to minister to and bring to him. And if this is how God wants to use me, I got to be open to that. Come on, somebody. I got to be open to that. I didn't ask for it. Yes, it hurts, y'all. And a lot of this is probably easier said than done. Or, oh, Tracy, that sounds good. But no. Hear me out. When you understand, again, who you are and the purpose God has for your life, just some stuff can't bother you to a certain extent. Did it hurt? Absolutely. Did I feel the crushing? Absolutely. But I know that I'm going somewhere with it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you can't tell me Paul in the Bible had to go through all that he had to go through just to keep feeling down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm Paul in 2024. If you want to just say that I'm Paul in 2024, I was beat with rods and I was shipwrecked and all of that, but I understood what was on the inside of me, and I can't let that go.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful.
Nice.
We're gonna I think we've lost Tracy's feed. We're gonna take a short break on Pathway to Success, and we'll be right back.
Did you pick out this detergent all by yourself? So cute.
It's half the size and it's half the plastic. And there's nothing cute about unnecessary plastic. Christy, the average person generates over 200 pounds of plastic a year. And there are 329 million of us in the US alone.
Do you want paper or paper? Yeah.
7th generation Easy Dose laundry detergent. Half the size, half the plastic, all the clean.
So where were we?
The playoff.
Oh, yes. Only a handful of teams remained, hailing from kingdoms far and wide across the college football land. all vying for a spot in the playoffs. Each team led by a great coach, fearless players, and defended by the loyalist of fans. Soon, they would take part in an epic playoff battle for the right to call themselves national champions. And to the victor go the spoils, a beautiful trophy, a grand celebration, and bragging rights that stand the test of time.
And then what happened?
We'll find out soon.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
This ship is now under the command of the First Order.
Live your Star Wars story in a new 2-night adventure.
You know what I've come for.
Only at Walt Disney World Resort.
To do that. Wow. Welcome back to Pathway to Success. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Hunter, and I have my co-host, Miss Charlotte Marshall, right here with us. And we have the very, very, oh my God, what can inspirational. He's so gifted, well learned.
Thank you.
Boyd, and we were just talking about things that we have in store for him, but we'll talk off the air. We'll talk after here because we're just blown away by your story. We're just blown away by the way you express yourself and how you've been really educating us. People are enjoying you. I mean, you should see backstage. People just
Are they going? Are they going?
they're going.
We tell them that I appreciate them for sure.
Yes, they love you. We really love you, and we're just enjoying you. What? Can you elaborate? You have a video of him? Okay, let's get this video. We have a video of Dr. Tracy Boyd, and we're going to show you that right now.
Yeah.
Let's look at that short clip.
See, in my courtroom, it's more than about waving papers and receipts around. It's about a preponderance of the evidence. If you can't prove your case, you ain't gonna win your case. It's about to get messy. You mean to tell me that you want to come into my courtroom asking for $800 in child support when you're not abiding by a court order visitation agreement? See, when you come in here, you gotta have your story straight.
Wow, congratulations, Dr. Tracy.
Thank you.
Oh,
wow.
It's always that last part of the video for me. See, when you come in here, you got to have your story. I love it.
We love it.
We're loving it. Well, Dr. Boyd, can you tell us Can you elaborate on the community support you received and how it's fueled your determination? You're so determined, and how it makes a positive impact.
Oh yeah, so it keeps me going when, people from my community reach out to me and say, "Hey Tracy, I just have a quick question," or "Tracy, you're so knowledgeable in this area, can I schedule can I schedule a 30-minute educational consultation with you," which is the only thing that I require. When I talked about legal services and consultation fees and things of that nature, listen, you pay me a $75 educational consultation fee for 30 minutes of my time, and you become just about 100% educated in whatever topic you called to have a discussion with me about, because I truly take my invested time into making sure that you truly know what it is that you're dealing with, that you're coming across, what's kind of like in your best interest and things of that nature. Due to this big lack of people just truly not knowing how to navigate these systems and things like that. So I spend a lot of time with members of my community, really just kind of going over certain things, especially child support is the biggest one. You guys can probably only imagine. But child support, and a lot of men reach out to me because they deal with child support issues, and they go down to the child support office seeking help and seeking advice and resources and things of that nature. And I try to educate them and tell them, look, y'all, there is no reason for you to be going down to the child support office. That office is not designed to help you. That is an office that is designed the purpose of the child support office is to establish, create, and enforce child support agreements. They're not there to help you get taken off child support. If anything, they're trying to help put you on child support. So it's not an assistance type of thing. They're just your child support representatives, making sure that everything in your case is concrete and solidified. But as far as going to the caseworker and trying to get some type of resources or legal advice or how to navigate this process, you got to go in front of the judge for that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You bypass the child support office and you petition the judge, because that's the ultimate person that's going to be signing the court order. Right. You mean to tell me that I'm on child support for a child, and me and the mother has decided to come into agreement with each other to take me off of this child support, and you telling me all I have to do is go sign a piece of paper and that takes me off child support? Something doesn't sound right about that. If I have an order with a judge's signature ordering me to pay child support, how can I just go and sign a sheet of paper to take me off child support? No. I need another order from a judge stating that the termination of this child support is now in effect. So again, I didn't want to make this a classroom setting tonight, but this is what I do in terms of just talking with people on a daily basis. We have these type of conversations, and people love that. My community is behind me 100%. My community know that what was brought upon me in 2022, they knew that was out of retaliation. You guys, my protests and my marches, they were very deep protests and marches. All right. Not only was I protesting the district attorney's office, but later that night I held a protest in front of his house.
Tracy, you brought it right home.
You brought it home.
You brought it home.
I brought it home because if you're not going to meet with us in the building that we pay taxes for you to sit in and administer justice and do all of this stuff, then I'm going to meet you in the house that we helped you get by your paycheck. So yeah, we said we created, he didn't meet with us earlier in the day So I formed a group to meet at his house later on that night. You guys, I've also been the very first person to protest our county jail down here, demanding that the captain and that these officials at the time, because this was a time of COVID, right? So at the time of COVID, at the height of COVID, I'm demanding that the county jail test every inmate for COVID-19. They have had employees who had been sick of the COVID virus and still showing up to work in and out of that building. And the captain refused to test the inmates. We took it to the county commission. The county commission came back and forced the captain to test every inmate in that jail. And you guys, literally on a daily basis, dozens of positive tests were coming back. Inmates were in this jail, sick to their stomachs, sweating, really can't move, almost in a paralyzed state. And so these are the things. One of the things that I realized about protests, y'all, was protest is not made for people to feel comfortable. When I was out there protesting, I wasn't protesting to make the district attorney feel comfortable, to make the mayor feel comfortable, to make our city or county mayor feel comfortable. These protests were held to actually do the opposite, make them feel uncomfortable, because anytime a protest makes you feel comfortable, the very people that you're protesting against feel comfortable, your protest is ineffective. Your protest is very ineffective. This is a city where back in the 1800s, we had a black woman by the name of Eliza Woods. You can research that name whenever you guys get a chance, but her name is Eliza Woods. Eliza Woods was a black woman, and she was working as the cook for a wealthy white man here in Jackson, Tennessee. Well, this man, his wife, had eventually died because she had been fed rat poison. Well, the husband blamed it on Eliza Wood, said that because she was the cook, she must have put the rat poison in her food. It was later discovered that it was the husband who actually killed his own wife, but Eliza Woods was never afforded due process, the due process of law. She, in a trial, there was a trial that she maintained her innocence. They arrested her. They put her down in our county jail. A white mob broke into the county jail, stole the keys, dragged Eliza Woods out of the county jail, and hung her on a tree in front of the courthouse where we go and get our car registration tags from. The same place we go and get our car registration from, at is a tree that Miss Eliza Woods was hung on, and her body was shot up 7 times for a crime that she did not commit. That's why I go so hard in the work that I do. That's why I look at myself as being another Eliza Woods punished by this, if I can say it this way, forgive me, but by a kangaroo court system who is hell-bent on incarcerating people, not only because of the color of their skin, but in an attempt to shut them up and to silence them. I started talking too much. That's what happened. I started putting names to some of the things that were considered to be unjust in this community. See, during the protests accumulated over 300 people. If y'all read those articles, I'm pretty sure you caught that number. The protests accumulated over 300 plus people. The issue came in when we started putting names to the people who were creating the unjust in our community. when you go into the mayor and you're telling him that it's the district attorney's office, creating this and creating that, or it's the police department arresting people for minor offenses or for offenses that they could really receive a citation for. That's what we're dealing with here in Jackson. We make our money by incarceration. We just built a new jail that they're going to continue trying to fill, because this is how we make our money here in Jackson and really within our entire criminal justice system. I'm sorry, guys. That was a lot.
That's a lot. But we celebrate what you're doing and your advocacy, and you as a young man that will step forward and lead and speak out against injustice. But what strategic practices have you implemented also to lead peaceful protests and advance your community forward through these protests?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I have been the only one that has led protests here. Again, and again, I say that with all humbleness as possible. But I live here in a small city. And again, it took me coming home to introduce this to the community. People know that they have a right to protest. That's your First Amendment right. So they know that they have a right to protest, but who's going to be, in this case, I always used myself and called myself the sacrificial lamb, because I was the one that was willing to put myself on the forefront out there. But who's going to be that person? That's what I really wanted my community to try to ascertain. And it didn't have to be one particular person. I wasn't looking for me to be the leader of this big movement here in Jackson. Unfortunately, I became the big leader because I was pushed out there, and I'm okay with it. But when you do things alone, things like what happened to me in 2022 can happen to you. Had I had enough support and enough people actually being able to come together and support, I don't think this would have happened. So I really want to, when we talk about strategic practices, Dr. Hunter, I have been working, and since I've been here, don't know how long I'm going to be here because I'm
Trying to get up there to Florida.
I don't know. But, my thing is, listen, from the video, as I was explaining that live video from Facebook we were talking about earlier, as the prophetess, the woman of God told me, Tracy, it's time for you to move. I've done that work. I've done the work here in this community. And I do believe that it's time for the mantle to be passed on to someone else. So strategic practices, my wishfulness and my advocacy towards building a more union within people that look like us. How can we come together even more, even now, especially now in 2024? How can we come together and truly support one another?
Now, Dr. Tracy, as the creator and producer of On Docket with Judge Tracy, which I love that title.
Come on now.
It's winning.
What inspired you to take on this new venture in courtroom television and the internet?
To show my viewers and even the litigants that are going to be coming before me, to show them that there's another route, to show them that there's another way. You don't have to take everything through our traditional court system. As you said, I'm a professional mediator and arbitrator. It's my job as an arbitrator to listen to facts presented by both sides and render a legally binding decision on that. You can make it non-binding or you can make it binding. Now, though on the docket with Judge Tracy, it has this theatrical part to it, the lights, the camera and action and things like that. I don't want people to get distracted by I don't want people to get distracted by that. I want them to understand that we're still dealing with real life situations and cases and things of that nature. But arbitration is another form of alternative dispute resolution, which is outside of traditional courts. I can take my small claims case to the civil court and spend all of this money filing this claim and hiring this lawyer to represent me and things of that nature. Or I can go over here to On the Docket with Judge Tracy, who's going to do the exact same thing for me at a faster pace and at a cheaper rate. And so I think again, people have to know that these types of things exist, or we'll still kind of follow what's been kind of given to us. So I'm spending a lot of my time really trying to educate people on the topic of alternative dispute resolution. What is mediation? What is arbitration? What is negotiation? How can I bridge the gap between baby mamas and baby daddies? And I say that from an entertainment standpoint, but how can I bridge the gap between baby mamas and baby daddies to be able to come together and talk about the issues that they are having to support what's in the best interest of their child versus going in front of a traditional judge who knows nothing about you guys and things of that nature. You guys got to learn how to communicate and come together. And that's the only way that you guys are going to be able to do what's in the best interest of your child. We're not going to agree on everything. That's why we're in mediation. You have an opinion and I have an opinion, but there has to be some type of common ground that we are adult enough to be able to come together and find, versus having to go through a court system that was never set up. And I'm going to keep placing emphasis on that. That was never set up to deal with the societal issues that we are dealing with today. I don't want any mother or father going through a family court system, because what we say about law earlier, law limits reality. And that's the issue that a lot of men that I have conversations with, is their reality or the reality of their situation, it ain't lining up with how the court system is treating them. And that's the issue that a lot of them are having. So I just want to continue being a pillar, for the people that's going to be watching me, that's going to be viewing this interview, the On the Docket with Judge Tracy episodes, because each and every episode is going to be designed to give you something to take away from it.
I like that. Wow, Tracy.
Looking forward to that.
With your extensive background, what advice do you have for aspiring individuals looking to make a difference in justice, education, and community empowerment?
I'll be honest with you. My only advice, or my advice off the top of my head right now, is to find something that you are truly committed to, or that you can find even your commitment to it. Like let's say that you're interested in justice, and you don't like police brutality. Start studying police brutality. Start looking at those numbers. Start looking at other different organizations that are fighting and taking on these same issues, and ascertain how you can become involved in that. I want to encourage people to stand for something, because if not, they're going to truly fall for anything. And we see that on a daily basis within our government. Our government can tell us anything, and we'll run with it. We don't need that in 2024. Misinformation in 2024 is a very dangerous thing. And so we want to connect with people who know what they're talking about. We want to connect with people who are actually not just doing the talk, but actually walking the walk as well. And so what I mean by walking the walk is creating action steps to kind of address some of the things that, we're speaking about and we're having these conversations about. One thing that I can be proud of to say, or proud of, is the fact that these conversations, once before, we were never having these types of hard conversations. Now, what I'm starting to see is we're having the conversations, but we're just not having them enough. And so I think the more we keep having these conversations, the more we can be open to understanding that other people have different experiences and different opinions that they're bringing to the table. That's what's going to get boots and shoes moving on the ground. So I'm encouraging people that's young, old, whatever. I don't want to disrespect anybody's age or anything, but I want to encourage people to find that one thing that they are interested in learning about and pursuing and creating some type of fight and change behind it. Because anything that's considered a public system, it wasn't created for us. So I'm pretty sure there's a fight there somewhere.
Wow. Yeah, we love your advice. That's very good advice.
Thank y'all. Thank you. Yeah.
And we're seeing that you have multiple achievements just from listening to you. But can you highlight a specific achievement or project that you're particularly proud of in your career?
I'm going to say two. Yes. The first one, listen, I never thought, I'm 30 years old. I never thought that I was going to be someone in this field. I didn't think that law or legal studies or anything was going to be my niche. I was licensed as a minister August 23rd of 2009 at the age of 16. And I truly thought that, the career that, or I don't even want to say career, but I really thought that I was moving more into a pastoral role. I thought that, I was going to become a pastor. I was going to launch a church and things of that nature. But God just, he had something totally different. And I don't even want to say totally different because I'm still a minister today. I'm still licensed today. I still preach today. It's just, I don't know if I have allowed my advocacy to kind of overshadow that a little bit, which is possible. But my first one that I want to say is the networking and the opportunity, the connection that I built. Slow down, Dr. Boyd. The connection that I built with the 80th United States Attorney General, Alberto Gonzalez. For anyone who doesn't know the role of the United States Attorney General, this is the Attorney General for the United States. This is a person that's in the president's cabinet. And so under Bush's administration, Alberto Gonzalez was our United States Attorney General. He later, before he was the United States Attorney General, he served as as a Supreme Court justice on the Supreme Court in the state of Texas. And then now he serves as the dean of Belmont Law School in Nashville, Tennessee. And so I reached out to him, via email. Some of his associate deans got back with me. We scheduled a meeting with my school counselor for the Law and Leadership School, Dr. Crystal McKinney. We together launched this and we met with them, and he thought that this was an amazing opportunity to introduce law to young people. And so every year, we've been trying to expand this program. Like I said, we started at Belmont. The following year, we went to the University of Memphis Law School. The following year, right here in my very hometown, we partnered with our Jackson City Court and held the program there as well. And so each year, I'm trying to connect with even more law school professionals or community, resource people, different pastors in the community to allow us to host these type kind of programs on their facility or on their campus. So meeting with him, Charlotte, going back to your question, meeting with him was, I think, the number one, because it kind of fueled like where I am today. It kind of fueled me to go a step further. And then the second achievement was a community award that I received from a organization Phi Delta Kappa Sorority Incorporated, which is a sorority of teachers and educators. It's a Black sorority of Black educators, and they presented me with this this award for the work that I brought to Jackson, for the work that I was doing here. Listen, if the DA's office saw that I was doing something else, but my community saw that I was doing this, I'm gonna run with my community every step of the way. You know what I'm saying? So those are my two achievements, my most recent achievements. And then I just got certified professionally as an arbitrator and mediator. So that's my most recent. Yeah. That's my most recent.
Congratulations, Dr. Boyd.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. In your role as big judge on Docket with Judge Tracy. I love that. Docket with Judge Tracy.
Yes.
On the docket, yep.
On the docket, right. Thank you. On the docket with Judge Tracy. What aspects of the legal system do you hope to highlight or address?
Yeah, I'm hoping to truly highlight family law issues. So again, going back into that custody agreements, child support, orders and things of that nature. Now, though I cannot, make legal binding decisions regarding custody agreements and things of that nature, the point of that is to bring parents together for them to be able to identify what parenting or what co-parenting is going to look like for their household. So family law issues around those cases I plan to highlight, and then small claims cases up to $10,000. So, you may be suing, someone maybe hit you and you're suing them for medical bills or medical expenses. As long as those medical expenses do not exceed $10,000, that case can be heard in front of me. Yeah, so those are really kind of like my main three cases.
I'm excited. I know we're excited. Dr. Tracy, looking ahead, what are your future goals and aspirations for both your advocacy work and your courtroom television show?
Well, obviously, I want to make it to the big screen with the television show. And I want to do it before somebody else tries to come on the scene and try to take something, or take the idea. But again, I don't think they'll be bringing to the table what I'll be bringing to the table. So I really do want to make it to the big screen, because I think a lot of people would benefit from the in-depth information on the show that we're going to be talking about, right? There's going to be cases where a father come and he, is probably crying his eyes out. Judge Tracy, I've done this and I've done that. And, I've went to the child support office to try to get this done and that done. And here's a great opportunity for me to educate him on what we talked about earlier when it comes to going down to the child support office. He's not the only person that's experiencing that. So many other people are experiencing kind of some of the same issues. And I really think that this platform, Judge Tracy TV, is really going to boom with mothers and fathers who are kind of experiencing some of the issues that people on the show are coming on to kind of. So that's with the show. And with the Law and Leadership School, my goal is I really want to have about 3 or 4 different law and leadership schools around the country, but I want them to be residential schools. Remember, we talked about providing something new for young people. Understand that the Law and Leadership School is a school that I founded and I created, and it's outside of our public education system. So these are parents that say, oh, I can take my child out of this school because I don't like what they have going on, and I can put them in your school and they're still going to meet their academic requirements, their attendance requirements, and things of that nature. Absolutely. When we talk about creating something for our own, this is where it starts. This is we got to create our own schools. We got to start creating our own grocery stores and planting our own vegetables and things of that nature. Look what the government is doing with our foods. I came across a video earlier today where a guy was making lettuce out of food wax.
Wow.
Would take some kind of food wax, place it in some water, and literally start crumbling the lettuce together as if it's like iceberg lettuce. So, and I didn't know that was a thing till I crossed the video today, but that's what's happening. And so I think when we start creating things of our own, we will start seeing some better things happen within the Black community.
Wow, what can we say? A great visionary.
Yes.
Advocate. Oh my God.
Arbitrator. Judge.
I love it.
And one who is winning big. You have heard from Dr. Tracy Boyd, a very inspirational young man who God has placed an uncommon gift, such a grace on his life.
And must be heard.
Must be heard globally. And congratulations on your television show. It's going to be a success, and I believe that you'll be in the movies also. Get ready for that.
I'm ready. Look, I receive it.
You receive it. Okay. I don't want to get on the screen because we're going to end the show and then we're going to talk to you privately.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we want to thank you all for joining us on Pathway to Success.
Yes.
Dr. Tracy Boyd.
I'm speechless.
Tracy Marshall. And your host, Dr. Michael.
Listen, Charlotte, before I know we're getting ready to go. Listen, when I'm up teaching my students, obviously at the end of the class or the lesson, I'll ask them if they have any questions. And I never get questions from them, and sometimes it makes me a little upset because I'm like, I spent all of this time on this lesson and y'all ain't got no questions for me. And I had to, that's exactly where I was going. I had to understand. Well, one of the parents had to come to me and tell me, Dr. Boyd, when I sat in on your class and I saw you get frustrated when, the students didn't have any questions or anything for you, she said, but you broke everything down so well to the point where didn't nobody need no questions. So I understand that.
With that being said, I have one more question. Can we invite you back on the show again? I mean, you mentioned a very good topic, and that's with child support.
I'll probably be down there by that time, right?
You'll be right here on in the studio.
Want to be sitting right there next to y'all by that time?
We're ready.
Yeah. Success.
Absolutely.
Right here, Pathway to Success. In closing, always remember that God has given each and every one of us a gift. All we need to do is believe in ourselves, be truthful, and be forthright. No matter what adversaries you may face, remember this: there's a victor in you and there's a champion in you. Have a great week from us here, Pathway to Success. Stay